All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the joint hearing work session of the Planning, Housing, Economic Development Committee and the Education and Culture Committee. Craig Rice and I have discussed, and I will chair today's proceedings. And we have a very crowded agenda, I have to say. It's 10:30, and we got a hard stop at 1 o'clock because the PHED committee will be reconvening at 1:30 to continue its deliberations. And I just don't know how I'm going to be able to make that happen. So I think we'll be able to do this, but we will all seek to provide concise responses as we go. So we're taking up the first item on our joint committee agenda today, which is the Worksource Montgomery NDA, and we are joined by our friends at Worksource Montgomery. So, Mr. Featherstone, it's good to see you in person. I think this might be the first time, so hard to believe. Welcome. Glad you're here. Mr. Hattery? Okay, very good. And Ms. Gordon? Okay, very good. Okay, Gene, please take us away.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Reamer. As always, just want to acknowledge the great partnership we have with Worksource and as we work together to put this pack together, and we'll also acknowledge Mr. Bende and Ms. Hyatt, who worked with me with OMB and from the executive side, and they're also here should the committees have any questions related to the contract or the executive's implementation of this. These efforts with Worksource Montgomery. I'll be quick given the committee's time. I'll do some quick high-level notes, and then we'll give an opportunity, or I'll return it back to you, Mr. Chair, so that the Worksource Montgomery can present some of their thoughts as they go into the fiscal 23 budget based on their efforts this year and what they're looking forward to. And then ultimately the committees can have questions and conversation with Worksource as they consider this budget. The executive did recommend a sizable increase to Worksource's budget this year for very specific purposes. It's about a 50% increase over what was approved in fiscal 22, and that's highlighted in the recommended budget. There's three large expenditures being added. One, $350,000 for specific employment and training services to immigrants. The next one is $317,000 for a new reentry program and support with our correctional facility. And then the last one is continued support of the summer rise stipends. As council staff notes in the packet, Worksource Montgomery doesn't only receive funding through county. They do receive funding through the state for federal programs. And so unlike some other organizations that the council reviews at this time related to economic development, Worksource's budget is larger than just what the county provides, but the county's programming and funding is mostly provides the most flexibility so that we can implement workforce development programs on the ground where we need them, as opposed to what restrictions the federal government has for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act funding. In addition, as always, I'll just note that what the committees review today and what Worksource has provided in their budget is that the committees do not approve a line item budget for Worksource. They simply are approving an appropriation. Worksource's board will ultimately approve a budget based on the county's contribution, federal contributions, et cetera, as well as the work plan. And so that's ultimately what Worksource will be updating us today is their views and vision and mission for fiscal 23 based on the expected funding and revenues. And as I said, the packet goes through several expenditure discussions should the committees need to have kind of a pathway to have some of this discussion, but ultimately I wanted to give Worksource an opportunity to present what they see as their vision and mission for fiscal 23. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Reamer.
Great. Mr. Featherstone, welcome.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right beneath the microphone. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. So good morning to the joint committee. It's a pleasure to be before you in person for the first time. Before I get started in talking about briefly some of our highlights in 22 and looking ahead to 23, I want to recognize my two team members, Nate Gordon, our Deputy Director for Administrative Services to my left, and John Hattery, our Deputy Director for Workforce Services to my right. A lot of what we'll speak about today is made possible by the hard work of Nate and John and their team. So I want to thank our team members at the front of this presentation. So just to talk a little bit about some of our highlights for 22. One of the key points in 22 was to restructure the way we offered or operated our Title I WIOA programs, as well as our American Job Center. And I'm proud to say that in 22 we have transitioned all of our Title I programs.
I'm so sorry to pause you for a moment, but I just wanted to recognize Councilmember Navarro is with us. You're in the audience. You can see she's on the screen behind me, but I just wanted to note for those who otherwise are here. And Councilmember Navarro, you may want, as you have already done, text me if you'd like to share a comment. Thank you. Please continue. Apologize.
No worries. Thank you. So we were able to restructure our Title I programs, and on July 1, 2022, WorkSource Montgomery was able to assume operations as the direct service provider for our adult and dislocated worker programs under WIOA. We also procured some smart partnerships with some outstanding partners to provide youth services to our disconnected young adults. We're working with the Latin American Youth Center, Eckerd Youth Alternatives, as well as Identity Incorporated. So we have a good mix of local providers as well as providers that have a good national sense of best practices to bring home to Montgomery County. Partnerships was a big focus for WorkSource Montgomery and our American Job Center network in 22. We started inward with our American Job Center partners, and it culminated in an executed MOU with all of our AJC partners, as well as a resource sharing agreement. And why is that important? I think number one, because it's the law, and WorkSource Montgomery had not had a MOU and RSA in place in a few years. It's very important for our system to have great working relationships, and which I'm proud to say we do across the board with our American Job Center partners. And then last but not least, every dollar that's not included or shared in our resource sharing agreement is a dollar taken away from training that goes towards training our residents, which is definitely last but not least one of the most important factors. We were able to, in partnership with our local workforce development board, the county executive, as well as our governor's workforce development board, implement a local workforce plan for 2020 through 2024 that outlines the target populations and target industries that we'll be working towards and deploying our public workforce resources towards for the next few years. And we have done a lot towards recovery, and there's still a lot of work ahead of us, but we were able to deploy or create programs that benefit small businesses that have been affected by the pandemic. We're proud to report that the GROW program, Grant Relief for Onboarding Workers, is a program that's active on our website right now, and that has supported 42 businesses, small, minority, women-owned, veteran-owned businesses to date, to the tune of almost $400,000 in support, and it's put over 100 Montgomery County residents, unemployed and underemployed residents, back to work, and that's a program that's still currently open and accepting applications. We have recently engaged in a workforce recovery network initiative where we have partnered with 13 local community-based organizations that are located throughout the county that serve a variety of demographics, and also provide services across various industries that we're targeting in our local workforce plan. So we're proud of our new partners and the work that they'll be doing in expanding the reach of workforce services to populations that most need our help. And last but not least, in 22, before I move to 23, we know that there's a lot of activity when it comes to employment and training and workforce development services in our county, but we want to increase the level of coordination to match that level of activity. So we're engaging in a collective impact measurable equity framework where we bring the system together, which is an undertaking because there are more than 100 entities who offer employment and training services in the county. But we started with a community asset map where we have identified who offers services to youth and adults, where they're located, who they're funding, who they target as far as their services, what their outcomes are, and so forth. And we look forward to publishing that information early in 2023 as part of our website redesign, that it will include a locator of services, whether you need housing services, workforce development, any ancillary support service. You'll be able to go to our website and enter that service into an interactive locator to see who on the map can help fill that need or fill that gap as a resident. For businesses, we want to focus more in 23 on incumbent worker training. We do a lot of work, rightfully so, in trying to help our residents get into employment, but we want to place an increased focus on those in entry-level jobs that are already employed by some of our local businesses and try to help them upscale so that they can move on to middle skilled or middle level management positions to open those positions so that we can backfill with some of our American Job Center participants. So we want to focus more on incumbent workers in the coming year. We want to deploy more of our WIOA on-the-job training resources, wage subsidies, to help a lot of our residents and businesses. And I think last but not least, we want to have a more coordinated effort when it comes to business services. So we're working with a new customer relationship management system with a lot of our partners so that we can talk, we can share resources, we can not confuse, duplicate, efforts from a business services standpoint, which we think will just edify our system and the services that we offer as well as our partners. For our job seekers, we want to expand our local training provider list, so we want to create a local training provider list, which will expand the opportunities available outside of the state's eligible training provider list, which will just provide more opportunities, a longer menu of training services that our residents or job seekers can get into. And we'll continue with various sector initiatives, whether it's the Bio Boot Camp, IT boot camps. We have one of our great partners, ASM Education Center, here in the room. We'll continue to work with them and Montgomery College and a lot of other training partners to offer our sector initiatives. We're proud that we have one going on right now. It's a Green Pre-Apprenticeship in partnership with Montgomery College that will continue, and those individuals will come out of the pre-apprenticeship and go into registered apprenticeship opportunities. And last but not least, before I stop, we'll continue on our community engagement and impact trail. The mobile unit, I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing me talk about it, but we're proud that the unit is in production and should be delivered in September. So look forward to the mobile unit in a community near you at some point this fall. And we'll be doing some deliberate outreach when it comes to reaching our unemployed residents, as we know that the 21 General Assembly passed legislation at the state level to allow us to receive information on our unemployment insurance claimants in Montgomery County. And fast forward to a year later, we have executed that agreement and we'll receive the first tranche of information in July. And, last but not least, we know the great work of MCPS when it comes to the Summer Rise program. With the support of the County Council, we'll look to continue to be a good partner in helping to support that program and facilitate stipends for those rising juniors and seniors that get those summer employment experiences. So there's more, but I think I'll stop right there and thank the committee again, the Joint Committee again, Councilmember Navarro, virtually. Thank you as well, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Co-Chair Craig Rice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And Director Featherstone, let me just say that I can't thank you enough. We came out of the ashes when it came to really having challenges with the direction that WorkSource Montgomery was going to go in. And you have certainly been at the helm of putting us on solid footing and giving us a direction that is going to be solid for answering the call of what's so important coming out of this COVID pandemic, which is getting people back to work and ensuring that we do so equitably. That is one of the key tenets, and that's what you have certainly lived, and it's certainly in the focal points of what it is that where we see that additional resource being put forth. I do want to thank the county executive for sending over a budget that funds these priorities, but certainly one in which you and I have had great discussions around some of these great innovations. And I just want to highlight two of them because they're incredibly personal to me, but ones in which were hatched by a need of us seeing what we saw in our community. We needed to answer the call. One of them is getting people back to work once they've been incarcerated, understanding that folks just don't need to learn about working at a bakery, although there's nothing wrong with that, or to work in a mechanic shop, and there's nothing wrong with that. But why aren't we getting folks connected with jobs and career pathways that we know are future-proofed, right? As those things continue to change and the skill sets that are for those jobs change. We see automation when it comes to our industry and preparation, everything from all those kinds of things. And so we say to ourselves, well, how do you then take a person who worked in a factory, who get skills, and then now that that job has gone away, how do we make sure that they remain employed? Understanding that the pressures that are on them in their communities may not be to always do what we know is in their best interest or the best interest of their communities. And by answering the call, by investing in something like the Coding Our Way Home program, something that gives inmates an opportunity to learn coding while they're there, that folks don't realize actually doesn't cost a huge amount of money, but can reap huge benefits for the community, is something that I'm very happy as a member of the National Association of Counties to be working on, something that we can possibly take nationwide. That's your leadership, sir. And so I just want to say thank you to you and your team, who have done a tremendous job of continuing to focus on innovative ways in which we can equitably approach economic development and workforce opportunities for our community. And last but certainly not least, my good friend Councilmember Jawando, who led this when we first started with Summer Rise, making sure that our kids have an understanding of the different kinds of career pathways that are out there. And I'll use my daughter as an example. Even though she didn't go through Summer Rise, it was basically the same exact program, to where, again, giving her an opportunity to spend some time at Lake Forest Animal Hospital solidified her commitment that she wanted to be a veterinarian. And now in her third year at Colorado State as a pre-vet major, having that experience is incredibly important because it helps our kids to know what it is that they want to do. Gives them opportunities to access what may not be accessible to them normally as they grow up in their communities. Incredibly transformative, incredibly important as, again, we get our folks back to work. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll make a brief comment, then I've got Councilmember Jawando and Councilmember Navarro. Pleased to see the number of applicants you've served, the number of that you're serving in the job center, well, not the job center, I guess that's still kind of getting up and running, but the American Job Center, the AJC, I was referring there to DCOR. 3,645 residents to date in this fiscal year at the American Job Center. That's terrific. Those are folks who are coming in either virtually or in person. That's great. Okay, Councilmember Jawando.
Appreciate it, and good to see you in person. I've seen you a lot, just not here, right? And good to meet your two team members. I don't know how did I meet? I haven't met, and we met briefly when I came. I believe so. Yeah, we've met you before, and I think I know Gene. But good to see you all. I really had a great time coming to open your center there. It's just such a good space, and I know several of my colleagues have been there. We're going to all support this budget. I think, well, I think so. I'm going to support it. But I wanted to give some general thoughts because this has just been, as Councilmember Rice said, and Councilmember Navarro, I know will attest to as well, this has been a long time coming to get to this point. We've had some fits and starts since I joined this council, since before I joined this council. And when I was a contractor running the first year of Summer Rise, I was sitting where you were asking Councilmember Rice for the first funding for Summer Rise, and he listened, thankfully, and we did a great program that is continuing to grow. It's one of the things I want to just kind of put a bug in your ear, and I've talked to MCPS about this too. We need to have a work-based learning opportunity for every high school student. We have 50,000 high school students, give or take, in any given year. They all should have an opportunity. Many do because they have access. As you know, Summer Rise disproportionately helps our students who do not have those networks, and that's been some of the great work of it. And it's grown. I think we're up to 600, 700, 800, depending on the year, but we need to go dramatically. And I want to think about a plan collectively. It's not just your responsibility, but how we grow that over time. And I think it's a unique model. It's not just giving someone someplace to be. It's tied to their interest. It's tied to the local economy. So it's a great program. The Financial Empowerment Center that I came for the opening of, that you mentioned, life-changing financial counseling. We heard some testimony from some great folks, and that's going to continue coming out of this pandemic. That's so important. I'd love to see a second center open up, and I know that's something that I think you guys share, but it's a great start. I also want to mention the coding for reentry at Councilmember Rice. That critical that we're giving a whole plethora of opportunities for our returning citizens, and I really want to say I'm eager to see the results of that as you get it up and running. And you've been talking about this mobile van, so you're gonna have to park it on Maryland Avenue so we can take a look at it once it's up and running. And then just finally, just wanted to say, the work with our immigrant residents. I think it's so important. 1 in 3 of our residents is foreign born. If you take their children like me, 45% of our residents are either first or second generation. It's who we are. Anything we do has to address the needs of our immigrant residents, and I want to just commend your focus. I'm excited about this budget. I think the new money is appropriate, and look forward to just monitoring and working with you and supporting as we go along. So appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Great. All right. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Featherstone, it is really awesome to be here discussing this budget and hearing all of the incredible efforts and the alignment, which is exactly what I know we all collectively were looking for. In 2019, when I was council president last, there were a lot of transitions, many things to usher in, a lot of changes in our county. This one in particular was so important, and we spent quite a bit of time figuring out how we could best position the county for this transition of new leadership, but also leveraging the opportunities. Extraordinary, of course, is the notion that then 2020 happened. And these last 2 years and almost a half now, so many critical things have occurred that have, of course, shifted the trajectory of our county, our state, our nation, the world. And this notion of how do we align opportunity with the desired stated goals of our county is so critical. And so I just really want to express my appreciation, and it feels great to know that as I'm leading the council this piece, I can also check that box, that it's in really good hands, and that it is very much aligned with everything we touch. And that is not just symbolically speaking. It really is true. Every time we, discuss issues of quality of life in the county, economic development, now that we have a strategic plan based on the economic development platform, when we talk about educational opportunities, when we talk about economic sufficiency, every single thing that we touch really leads to how are we positioning our county residents to take advantage of opportunities. And collectively, the council, as it works through their land use, the executive, as he has to work through identifying opportunities, collectively, we can really be intentional about how to leverage and expand those job opportunities. And then with you all, you can make that connection. And it's already happening. And so, very grateful for your team's collaboration with the construction job fair that we had at the Wheaton Library and Rec Center. I have to give a shout out also to Jerry Bonde and all the partners that came together. It was the weather was not all that great, but boy, people showed up and they took opportunity. They took advantage of the opportunity. And there was, this one Afghan refugee that came through, and it was so grateful because this was, again, an opportunity to access some really good paying jobs. And so there's just so many amazing things that can occur as long as we are intentional, strategic, and we align it. So I honestly, just really wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you for what you've done thus far and what I know you will do with your team. And I'll be happy to, support this budget and watch how everything continues to evolve moving forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So we have a budget recommendation. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to move on, and I keep moving on. Councilmember Fleetson.
I'll be brief. Appreciate all the comments of colleagues. It certainly has been an interesting journey to get here, but I think all of us are really confident in the leadership at WorkSource and really appreciate the direction that you're heading in. I think we all appreciate the increased focus here in the budget, particularly for immigrants and new residents, which is an important part of your work and an important part of our community. And the work that you do in terms of the dignity of work and ensuring that everybody in our community have the skills to succeed in the economy. It's more important now than ever because the economy has changed more in the last 2 years than it probably did in the 20 before it. And it's going to change even more in the next 2 years than 2 years after that. And so the ability to train and retrain, to repurpose the skills of the talent that we have in the county is going to be critical, and certainly your organization is going to be at the forefront of it, and we're counting on you. So appreciate that. There's a lot of partnerships, and it's your organization as part of a broader continuum of workforce development, but certainly you're at the center of it, and we really appreciate all the work that you've been doing. So appreciate that, and I'll yield back.
Great. All right. So we have a budget recommendation, and I know my colleagues support the recommendation, so without objection. And I'll just wrap up by saying, as the phrase I heard earlier from my colleagues, I believe Councilmember Rice said that this enterprise here was in ashes, and the council really stepped up. And I want to thank my colleagues who are here and Councilmember Navarro. The council really stepped up and grabbed the reins and forced it through. And we're pleased by the team that is assembled here and the new board members that we have. And with enough pushing and pounding and banging on the table, we have an organization now that is providing services to our community. And we're glad to see that happening. So thank you very much for your work. And we will recommend your budget as recommended to us on to the full council. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. On to our next item. All right. All right. No disrespect to the E&C committee, but this is typically a PHED committee item, but we're going to handle it joint committee because why not? And this will be my last budget review regardless, so it's somebody else's problem. All right.
Everybody's fighting over you.
I'll be on the committee, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure you're still the indispensable council member on both.
That's right.
Okay. So, welcome to our team from Montgomery History. This is the Historical Activities NDA. And Ms. Chen has staffed our packet, and we are joined today by Matt Logan, Executive Director, Camille Brewer, our Chair of the Board at Montgomery History, and our UCORI, no, I don't think so.
Sarah Headland.
Sarah Evan? Oh,
Headland.
Oh, Sarah Headland. Yes. Oh, wow. Fantastic. We met online. Yes, great.
Big face is different.
I have many of the history, I don't know, the reports or the volumes that you've produced on my conference table upstairs. And so for me, you're sort of an apparition. Sarah Headland, the author.
She is three-dimensional.
Yes, exactly. It's nice to see you in person, and I really appreciate your work. And I think we're also grateful for your work, for this organization, and you especially, Matt. I think you've been a real leader in this county, moving forward on a lot of important conversations. It's not about the history, it's about the present, it's about the future, but the history is the vehicle for bringing that forward and making all of that possible. And, you have exemplified that social mission, and we're just proud to support you. So why don't I turn it to Carolyn, and we have a request from Montgomery History, but we have a recommendation from council staff to add some additional resources, which I really appreciate, so that we can strengthen this organization and do something that has been long overdue, which is create a much better record and archive center for not only the county's own archives, but for community archives. So, Ms. Chen.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Chen, Legislative Analyst with the Montgomery County Council. How fun to see myself while speaking. Okay, so I'll be very quick. I wanted to give a little legislative history background on the Historical Activities NDA. Prior to fiscal year 13, the Historical Activities NDA was called that because it reviewed, the budget included the Historic Preservation Commission, which is now in planning, and also Montgomery History. In fiscal year 14, funds were shifted for the Historic Preservation Commission over to planning, and now this Historical Activities NDA is just support for historical activity through partner through Montgomery History. So that's just a little cleanup there. And so this session is solely discussing the core services to provide historic preservation with our county records and archives, and collaboration with our Department of General Services Record Management Center.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was conferring with my co-chair there. So your staff recommendation, can you summarize your staff recommendation as far as budget is concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do intros?
Oh, okay. I thought you were, yes.
Okay.
All right. Let's turn to our colleagues here. Mr. Logan.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, council members, for the opportunity. This is a very exciting time for us. I hope I've communicated to all of you before that, we've really been at an inflection point, that not only have we benefited from things that have been happening locally, but the national context has certainly drawn attention to the importance of history as a way to ensure, as you mentioned, not only the present, but also the future is on a path that's guided and informed by what's happened before. And so we have been sort of refocusing our efforts, trying to figure out the best way to move forward, given these opportunities. And our primary focus is around inclusion and access. We believe that's consistent with the county's values. There's certainly values that we hold, and there are mechanisms that we have to advance that. One of the most important is investing in ourselves. So we have people like Sarah Hedlund, who I kind of feel like is a local treasure. We also have a wonderful curator who we've now been able, by investing in ourselves, our own endowment funds and so forth, to bring our curator on full time. The most exciting change has been with the we've put a contract down on a building on East Goody to become the new Montgomery County History Center, which will bring all of our functions under one roof. It'll be a center for collaboration, partnerships, and so on. And so the increased support will help us to sort of on both fronts, both on the personnel standpoint as well as occupying this new space, which will have some additional expenses. Certainly from an operational standpoint, we've been able to be successful in terms of securing some capital funds, though there is still a gap there. But on an ongoing operational basis, there would be some additional expenses that the increase would certainly be incredibly helpful with. With that, if I may, I'd like to introduce Camille Brewer. Camille's one of our board members and has been part of this new leadership team that's helping to kind of guide our new direction.
So thank you and good morning. I'm here this morning as a cheerleader. The board believes in this new vision. We believe that the past is prologue, that the present is important, and the future is in our hands. So telling our stories in Montgomery County in an inclusive way, in a way that touches the population of our county, really is critical for creating the future that we believe in. So the board stands behind the vision, Matt's vision, the vision of the staff. As Matt said, we've invested in ourselves. We're strategically using our real estate, our endowment, to help create the future for this county that we believe in. Thank you.
Well said.
Sarah, would you like to?
Yeah, so I think we've been able to do some really exciting things in the last couple of years, and we've got a lot of momentum built up. One of the projects that we're fully behind is endeavoring to digitize the Gazette Newspaper, which was one of the papers of record for Montgomery County for the entire latter half of the 20th century. And being able to bring that asset to the community is going to be a huge help to understanding, especially our more recent past, which I think is really important to understanding what's happening in the county today in terms of development and in terms of a lot of different aspects.
There's some doozies in the Gazette from my early years on the council. I know that.
It's non-selective.
We'll get that digitized out to
Yeah.
the world.
So trying to, bring these kind of assets to the public online and expand our audience in those directions is really important. As well as our programming, which I think was a huge thing to come out of, the unfortunate circumstance of the pandemic, and we were able to very quickly pivot and bring that kind of programming to the community at large. So I think, bringing this kind of historical perspective to the current conversations that are happening is continuing to be a very important perspective to keep track of. Thank you.
All right. Co-Chair Rice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And so I just really want to first say thank you. We had a great conversation the other day, but as I thought about it this morning as I was driving in, things always happen for a reason. My mother is about to travel down to our homestead in Roundo, South Carolina, and meet up with her remaining brothers and sisters, 7 of the 15, at the place where they grew up that was, a place where they were sharecroppers. And it's one where if we don't have and keep these historical reminders of who we are, where we came from, we get lost. And we don't understand and appreciate all that it is that we've been able to accomplish and persevere through, and also remind us of where we don't want to go back to. And so from that standpoint, that's why history for me personally is so important. So I would like to propose, Mr. Chair, that we actually take the recommendations that Ms. Chen made, but I think that strategically for us, it would be smart for us to break them up into 3 tranches. And bear with me, folks, because the first, the county personnel support, the county executive has already put in $9,000. And so the recommendation of the $191,007 does not reflect the $9,000. So actually to put on the rec list to achieve that 191 would be $182,007. That would be the first tranche. Then there'd be another tranche for adding a digital archivist, which is $70,000, and then another tranche for adding the archivist for the county records at $80,000, which gives a total of $332,007. And so that would be my recommendation for what we would do in putting on the reconciliation list, Mr. Chair.
Great. I support that. Sounds good. Let's talk about it. Did you have a comment, or did you already make your comment?
I'll make my comment.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. I think doing it in 3 tranches makes sense. I think we all want to support the organization and move forward for all the reasons stated. And so I think hopefully we'll be able to move it forward during reconciliation. Appreciate all the work you do. I think it's really important. You provide context, and context now more than ever is critical when we have conversations, when we talk about policy decisions. The context of not just where we are, but how we got here, not just what we're doing, but why we're doing it, and why we started doing it. We often we work in government. We often say, well, we've always done it that way, and the obvious question is why. And you answer the question why, not just for the functions of county government, but for the community that we serve and for the county where we live. And I think that question of why do we do it this way, and how did we end up here, and why should we continue to do it this way is critical. And so thanks for all the work that you do. There's a lot of undertakings that you are moving forward with that I think are exciting. And I'll just note, I can't quite compete with the Gazette articles, although there is one of me being interviewed about a portable classroom at Wayside Elementary School. I think it was the first elementary school portable, and I noted the smell of it in that Gazette article. But as long as you're not digitally archiving the Diamondback from my University of Maryland days, I think we're fine. So, because there's some embarrassing pictures.
Don't worry, I've got them.
There's some embarrassing pictures there, but anyway, thanks so much for everything that you're doing. Pleased to join colleagues in supporting you, and look forward to making our way through the budget process and seeing what we're able to do, and hopefully we can help as much as we can. So, thanks.
Councilmember Navarro. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Joando, and then Councilmember Navarro.
I'm happy to defer to Councilmember Navarro. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. I had previously told you were next. So, but Councilmember Navarro.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, colleagues. Also want to thank you for your efforts. No doubt that I think, thinking back, this council has always done everything possible to strengthen the resources that you have because of what was just stated. Knowing where we have been, it's so critical. I reflect on the fact that it is now more than ever so important. And again, even though we do take these budget items in different committees, again, there are all these connections, right? So for example, the education system, as there's just been so much conversation about curriculum, and about really understanding after the 2020 census results, who we are here in Montgomery County, who we are in the state. You play such a pivotal role in documenting all of those transitions because it is so very important to make sure that we have the facts out there and that they are accessible. And a lot of times when we talk about, history, people think that somehow it has to be super ancient. But the reality is that, just in the last 40 years, Montgomery County has changed tremendously. And these 160 languages that are spoken in the school system come with extraordinary traditions and amazing contributions to the fabric of who we are here in the county. And as we have these discussions in the arts and humanities space, we also need to make sure that this historical documentation reflects that type of shift in the county and also is able to provide from an asset perspective, right? Not from the usual negative portrayal, but from a real fact-based perspective, why this county is so extraordinary and such a wonderful place to live. And it is because of who is here and who's contributing. And that becomes part of the fabric of the historical record. So again, I given that this is my last one too, just want to thank you for your extraordinary efforts and to reiterate again that this is really, really, truly so important as we seek to build understanding and connections and bridge those divisions that are present today more than ever. I think that this plays a very, very important and pivotal role. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, so I just had a quick question for you. Oh, Councilmember Duandois, I'm sorry. Just not doing a great job this morning, I have to admit it.
So I have co-chairs, right? Yeah. I appreciate it, and I'll be brief. I'm just really excited about. I could see you, Matt. I know you enough. You were like you're shaking, excited up there when you were talking. You know, just the moment we're at, where you can really take the work to the next level, you and your team. And I'm excited about it. The place that you have under contract is appropriate. You know, it won't. You know, let's hope that works. And I know you're working hard on that. To have a really Montgomery County History Center, the work that you're doing to digitize is important. We're at a period of time right now where, you know, speaking of context, half of the states in the country are banning books. Like right now, more than half of the states. And it's really important to have a counterbalance to that. That no, we're going to embrace the full history of who we are, so that we can serve and provide for our residents today and understand where we've been and where we need to go. And so I just really think this is a historical moment for the county, and hopefully we can make an historical investment in you and your colleagues and the work that you're doing. I think the 3 tranches make sense. I plan to push for all of them. I think everything that you're doing is important, and I can't wait to see what Gazette articles come up from my colleagues as well. So please flag that for us as those become digitized. You know, yeah.
We'll do a keyword search on Friedson and odor, and we'll see what comes up.
So thank you. I'm excited. Back to you, to the co-chairs.
All right. My question is about, I just had a quick question. I think it's this joint committee, maybe it was full council. We've been working on this Johnson's Local Park initiative, and we now have funding. We have an agreement from Parks that the ball field funding, which is pretty large, that they'll renovate the field with that funding so that we can return it to a competition level baseball field. And the idea would be to include historical interpretation there about the history of black baseball in Montgomery County. And probably it's a phased strategy with first you make it a baseball field that you can play, second maybe lights, and there's a house that is encroached on the field, maybe later there's a press box, so it might be some grants, and it could be a process. But my question is, if you organized a forum at your history conference, I think that was this year, and I participated. It was really amazing. We brought together a great group of people. Could you do some more work on the history of that field? I know you've been doing some work, but could you continue that as we are now beginning to proceed, and we will be soon with work at that important site? Could you play a role here as we go forward?
Yeah, we'd love to. I mean, it's not only a center of black baseball, but it was a center of the black community. And some of the other things that were going on in Emory Grove and the stories that we've already been hearing that we'd like to continue to collect. I think it's a great opportunity for some oral history work. And as part of our new facility, we hope to have a studio set up to specifically for that kind of thing. And so, those are excellent opportunities, I think, to continue to build the historical record. So,
terrific. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, before you, with the 3 tranches, one of those I would ask just for some flexibility, because I think we can. Those funds are critical, but we need to. I want to ensure that existing staff are we're able to retain them and then compensate them appropriately. And I think with the digital archivist position and the other archivist position, at least in year one, those can sort of be combined, because one of the challenges we have is with the at the county archives, there's a whole lot of background work that needs to be done in order to, well, we can keep the doors open, but in order to kind of take it to the next level, there's a lot of background work that can be done in year one. So if we can ensure that there's money for that, the other archivist position, if there is flexibility, that if I can use that for the curator or for operating expenses at the new facility, that flexibility would be very helpful to us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right. Right. So if we could have council staff work with you in terms of that, I think the motion is that we want to add 2 positions. We're flexible in terms of what it is.
Okay.
And so from that standpoint, we can work with, again, I think it's smart for us to not have them both combined together for a lump sum of $150,000, but to still split those up, just understanding our rec list. And I know that Councilmember Joando has indicated his support of fighting like a tiger to make it happen, but we have so many constraints that are on our budget that I don't want to see one loss for the sake of the other. Right. And so just having it as a generic additional position, so we don't have to be very descriptive in terms of what it is, at least allows progress. That would be my thought in terms of, but then I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chair, for other comments.
Councilmember Friedson?
Yeah, that sounds fine. I just want to make sure the request, there was 2 requests. One, the first request for $105,000 from the organization. It included the funding to support the staff positions, but also the purchase of audiovisual equipment and other supplies to support them. And so the flexibility there, that was for $105,000, and then the $36,000 was to pay for the part-time archivist. I just want to make sure that we reconcile the requests and that you have the flexibility that you need. So as long as that's going to be worked on and before it gets on the reconciliation list, that sounds great. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Yep. Perfect. All right.
Okay, so we will be putting the total amount on the rec list, and preliminarily it's in tranches. It's in 3 tranches, but we will ask you to follow up with Carolyn, and we'll identify some language, and then Carolyn can check with the co-chairs, and we'll share it with the committees and make sure that that is all the way it should be. Is that satisfactory? All right.
Thank you. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Okay.
Councilmember Navarro? Thumbs up. Okay. Okay, thank you. Go forth and record. All right. Okay. Okay, come on down, USG. All right, so it's 11:30, and we actually, I was incorrect when I said we had a hard stop at 1. We have a hard stop at 12:25. So we have 2 major pieces here ahead of us. Our exciting proposal from USG, and then out of school time. And Vivian thinks the recreation will take 45 minutes. This afternoon or right now? Yeah. So we're going to have to even be more expeditious. But the good news is, this is a proposal we asked you for. And so it shouldn't be too hard. Dr. Kadamian, welcome. Shirley Brandeman, welcome. Mary Lang, welcome. Really excited. So the very first committee meeting, joint committee meeting that we convened in January 2019 was on talent pipelines. And we wanted to begin building a bigger, stronger, more robust strategy to help fuel the growth of our workforce, to help our people get access to great jobs, and to help ensure that the companies that are here have the workforce that they need to grow and to thrive. So we know that the universities at Shady Grove is a phenomenal workforce organization. You're pumping out thousands of graduates, and you've got the amazing Bioscience Center, and I think one of our top county priorities needs to be going to fight for money in Annapolis so that you can fully program that and get those 7,000 degree students out every year. I think we have a ways to go on that, right? We have a ways to go on that. So that really should be our top higher ed strategy in the non-Montgomery College arena is let's fulfill the programming at the universities at Shady Grove. But that's a separate, just wanted to just make that statement because it's been lost, sadly, I think, in some of the public conversations. But we asked you to put your thinking caps on, and you're the smart people, so you have developed a strategy, and you're going to present it to us today. So I'm going to turn it to Nicole Rodriguez-Hernandez and Gene Smith to tee up the conversation, and then we'll turn it to you.
Good morning, council members. Thank you. We're excited to be here today with our partners at USG. The joint committee met most recently in March and October of 2021 to discuss this effort, and part of it was a request for all of our higher education institutions and education institutions, so MCPS, Montgomery College, USG, and WorkSource Montgomery to work together to develop a holistic cross-sector proposal to work on talent pipelines. This is a specific piece to USG, and it is their Ready Institute. We do have also the full cross-sector proposal, but that will be discussed at a later point in time. Today's focus is USG's Ready Institute. Any other further comments?
I'll just quickly note that the proposal from all of the institutions came in about early April, and so it was a timing issue to get them all in for today during this discussion. So with that, we can given the time constraints, we can turn it over to USG and they can go through their proposal.
Great. Good morning, and thank you all so much for the time to talk with you today. And thank you, Nicole and Jean, as well, so much for your help. I'm joined today by the chair of our Board of Advisors, Shirley Brandman, and also our Chief Strategy Officer at Shady Grove, Mary Lang. So we're going to share with you today an overview of the Ready Institute. As was mentioned back in March of 2021, following a meeting with all of our educational partners and workforce and economic development partners, we were challenged to think big and bold about the future, especially coming out of the pandemic. A way to serve all students of today and the future in a very student-centered way, to think about how we meet and lead on educational equity all across Montgomery County, and to deliver on seamless student-centered access, accessibility, affordability from K to J, from kindergarten to jobs, leading to high-demand careers and beyond. And also a way to think about how to meet the needs of a dramatically changing workforce today, especially coming out of the pandemic, with industries changing rapidly and needs growing rapidly. Earlier today, Councilmember Navarro said we were at a moment of aligning opportunities. This is indeed a moment of aligning opportunities. And the Ready Institute, which I'm going to present to you right now, reflects that opportunity of bringing together some of these possibilities to meet the big and bold challenge that was put before us. You'll see in the presentation that we provided to you that we've been thinking about and developing what we're referring to the educational ecosystem here in Montgomery County. And with all of our partners, we've been developing the components of this ecosystem. It's built on strong pathways that reach across key industries and areas to meet workforce needs and to meet the demands and meet the needs of the student. It's based around career readiness. We have a partnership with Montgomery County Public Schools, with Montgomery College and USG, agreement and consensus on what the 9 career competencies are, and students will be exposed to those competencies and work on those all the way through their time at USG. It's built upon point of need learning. We heard earlier today from Anthony Featherstone about the boot camps and the different workshops and the opportunities for credentialing that's so important in any pathway effort. And it's built around business engagement, coordinated, inclusive, and centering the opportunities in the workforce as well. And finally, the educational ecosystem is built around strong data analytics. And this is the cornerstone. This is the Ready Institute. The Ready Institute would be a collective voice for connecting our institutions at the intersections to be able to do this work. We have strong institutions here: Montgomery County Public Schools, Montgomery College, USG, Economic Development Corporation, WorkSource Montgomery. But the work at the intersections is where this all comes together. How do we go from great partnerships to an integrated ecosystem? We believe that that starts with great data and great planning and being able to do that connection. And we think that the Ready Institute is an answer to that. The Ready Institute would provide a collective voice on, first of all, planning. It would bring together the data, the partners around what are industry demands, what are needs in high priority areas, what does the academic pipeline and supply look like, where are the gaps, where do we need to grow key areas and programs, where do we need to meet new credentialing or new degrees. We would do that collectively, we would do that holistically to meet those needs and concerns. So planning would be a key part of the Ready Institute.
Okay, Dr. Kadami, I just want to just allow you to sort of say that again, because this is the heart of it here. So we have, hundreds of thousands of jobs in the county. Mm-hmm. We have strong, growing sectors that we need to anticipate where they will be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, but we need to better understand what their needs are today.
That's right.
And the way that we can have an influence and build and strengthen that is by having programs, degrees, and certificate programs that match the workforce need and the anticipated workforce need. And what you're saying is we could do a better job. We could, if we had some resources to really understand that better and think about that and then plan out, because it's not easy to build a certificate program.
Right.
It takes, but you have all those academic resources at the USG. You can bring it together if you can kind of have that convergence
That's
point.
Right.
And so your institute will have the ability to know what the turning job market is like, what the companies, what their growth needs are going to be, and then tailor certificate and degree programs. You'll go back and you'll work with the University of Maryland, and say, we need a new degree program in this, and you could start building that and take some time to create those kind of things. So that's what you're doing here. That's what you want to be able to do at a more assertive level, and that is a phenomenal, that's exactly what the idea was when we started this conversation of the talent pipeline. How do we feed and build and grow a bigger and bigger talent pipeline? And of course, USG is a very local institution, so that's the beauty of it. It's an equity strategy also. This is not only about feeding economic growth. This is about our kids and how to, put them into the path of a brighter future. So it all comes together here.
Yeah, I'll highlight three of the things that you just said so beautifully. One is that the connection between academic planning and business needs is very fragmented. Right. And so an opportunity to better connect the data that business has on their demands and the opportunities that education is providing, that needs to happen. It's not happening now, it needs to happen. Right. Another thing that needs to happen is that you can build degree programs all day long, but if students don't have pathways to those degree programs in an equity-centered educational ecosystem, it's not going to matter. Students need pathways to these opportunities, and so we need to think holistically about how students are achieving these degree programs. So just more degree programs is not going to do it. We have to think holistically and across pathways as well. And third, we all need to work together to do this. We need Montgomery College to do this. We need MCPS to do this. We need WorkSource Montgomery. We need Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation.
And that's why we need to invest in you.
That's right.
Because you're doing it.
That's right. Well,
we need everyone to follow the leader here.
We want to help coordinate it. We want to help be the catalyst for it. So.
Well, we could go slower. We could wait for everybody, but I believe in following the leaders. And you're stepping up to be a leader here. And I think that's really important. And I think, we think you need to get behind you. And our partners are doing this in different ways. So it's all coming together. I don't want to in any way indicate that other institutions aren't really doing amazing, phenomenal work in these areas. So this is just to add to the mix. But, okay, great. So back to you, and let's wrap up the presentation. And Councilmember Rice and I have confirmed, and we want to talk about a financing strategy here.
Sure. I want to add the importance of research that would happen at the Ready Institute as well, that in order to really build effective pathways and to do it in a continuously improving manner, we need to understand what's happening in those pathways, the student experience in those pathways. Are we connecting to business needs? Are students falling through the cracks? Are they making it from MC to USG? Are they making it from K through 12 into MC? Are they then making it into great careers? scores as well. We need to study that and understand that. And that could really be a distinguishing feature for Montgomery County as well in terms of being able to bring that to fruition. Finally, how do we activate this? We envision establishing a group of Ready Institute fellows who would bring both planning and research expertise and rotating in and out of the institute to help us do this work. We would also, to bring insights into what we're doing, we also envision a kind of decision theater arrangement at Shady Grove, which would bring together data visualization efforts, great collective and inclusive decision-making techniques to help forge decision-making across all of our partners. There's some tremendous efforts now with great research behind them around decision theaters and how they facilitate collective decision-making. And we envision standing something like that up at Shady Grove as well. And then it has impact. We build the educational ecosystem and continue to improve as we go along. In my mind, this is very much like a prisoner's dilemma from game theory. In the prisoner's dilemma game, everybody pursues their own self-interest, and we end up at suboptimal outcomes for everyone. But when everybody can build some trust, can work together, have some shared information, we can achieve outcomes that are far superior, and everybody succeeds, especially the students in Montgomery County. What we would do in the first year with this money, we would aim to do some initial planning around a key pathway area. We would convene a summit for that first step in that key pathway area, and we're also working currently with MC and with MCPS to build our first joint database for research purposes around ACEs, which would model some of the work going forward. With that, I'd like to ask, with your permission, I'd like to ask Shirley Brandman to say a few words as well.
Welcome back, Ms. Brandman.
Thank you. I'm very mindful of your time, so I'll be really brief. I wanted to just convey that the Board of Advisors, representing a cross-section of Montgomery County, firmly stands behind the idea and the proposal. I'm struck by the fact that you were earlier speaking about knowing our history. This is an opportunity to invest in our future. This is really about investing to build the efficiency so that we put in place the infrastructure, the data analytics that we're going to need to capitalize on all the other investments. I know that this council is deeply committed to accountability. This is a way for being accountable, making sure that the investments all the way through MCPS, MC, USG get people across the finish line and make them ready for the jobs of the future. So I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for the initiative and the ask. Happy to answer any questions.
Co-Chair Rice, followed by Councilmember Jawando.
Well, thank you very much. And Dr. Kadimi, I really want to thank you for responding to our insistence on being bold. You heard our words very loud and clear. I just wanted to make sure for the record that folks do know that I am on the Board of Advisors for the universities at Shady Grove. I will say that for me, I think one of the key parts, and I think it's the second one in your explanation of the proposal about making sure that everyone is coordinated, is going to be incredibly important. Obviously, Montgomery College, who is a premier institution in this community as well, that deals specifically with associate degrees and also with some credentialing and credit, has to be coordinated with this effort. I know that that's the vision, but I think that it's important for us to say it and then also make sure that everyone is a partner and held accountable from our school system, where folks are now getting their associate degrees, and how that then, as we look to CTE as a part of Kerwin blueprint recommendations and how that ties in. So there's so much coordination that needs to happen around this and that collaboration that I don't want to make sure that isn't lost in terms of how this needs to be. And there does need to be a convener. And so that's why I think that, again, having an institution like USG that is a flagship institution tied directly to the University System of Maryland, and I've talked with the former county executive about this, who now sits on the Board of Regents, former county executive Leggett, who he and I have had some great conversations about this as well, who also sits as a Board of Advisor for the universities at Shady Grove. But certainly one in which I think that there's great potential that's here. There is tremendous promise in terms of what can come out of this type of proposal. The key is that we've got to dot those I's and cross those T's, right? And so that's why, again, I just wanted to highlight that need for us to make sure that is that collaboration is tantamount to our ability to be successful. I'm going to wait to do to talk about the details until other folks have had a chance to talk. But I don't know if you wanted to respond to that.
I just wanted to reemphasize. Yes, thank you so much for that. We are so fortunate to have amazing partners here. As you say, preeminent community college, one of the best in the nation, now led by Dr. Jermaine Williams, an amazing partner, one of the best public school systems in the country, led by Dr. Monifa McKnight. Both those leaders are phenomenal. We've been working closely with them on this effort. You'll see that reflected in the council proposal that we've been working on as well. And, we all see the benefit of greater collaboration in doing this so that we can all succeed even more so. So thank you so much for that.
More is more. Okay, we've got Councilmember Joando, Councilmember Navarro,
Thank you.
and Councilmember Friedson.
Appreciate it. Good to see everybody. Appreciate the proposal. A couple questions. This is a nut. Anytime I hear this conversation, I always go back when I worked at the Department of Education. I don't know, 15 years ago, whatever it was. There's always a people sitting around a table somewhere trying to figure out how do we figure out what jobs are coming and how we create pathways to them. It's one of those things like it's cyclical because it's an issue, and it's always a hard nut to crack. When I was consulting, we had education strategy group doing some work here in Montgomery County and in the region to try to connect and get working with the Greater Washington Partnership funded by Citibank to do similar work. How do we figure out what jobs are here, and how do we create pathways to that work, right? And so obviously I see nodding heads, you're aware of that. We want to make sure we're leveraging and aware of that. It's critically important, and I think the idea of having a entity designed to do that on an ongoing basis, so we're not having these, decennial conversations about how we need to do it, is a good thing. And you kind of got to this a little bit, Dr. Kadamian, but I just want to put a finer point on it. I'm assuming like MC and MCPS and Worksource Montgomery, everyone, they're all a part. They
Not let this opportunity pass without expressing my absolute gratitude and excitement over this proposal. It seems like the stars are really aligning because, boy, many of the conversations that we've had in these committees this go around are absolutely connected and aligned. And that is such great news. And for some reason, I think that also, these 2 years have been so hard, but I think they've also offered an opportunity to reflect and think of, these innovative ways of doing things and these opportunities that exist. Of course, I have to be mindful that this county offers so many assets, as it has been described already. And Director Gademian and my former colleague, Honorable Shirley Brandman, so exciting to see you all leading this. I am a bit partial. I think that, when women lead in these spaces, it seems like things just kind of get sorted out really quickly. So it's exciting. But boy, will this really, truly be able to hold in a container, really, all of these policy goals that we have all been talking about for quite a while. And the truth of the matter is that it should not be that hard to identify those industries and those spaces. Because so much has been done to set those processes. The economic development strategic plan, all of the particular, redevelopment projects, master plans that have been laid out there. There's just so many opportunities that are ripe. This component, though, I think has always been a bit loose, which is how to then provide the skill sets, the training, the education, but make it accessible. And yes, equity is so baked into this that, boy, this is absolutely what we need to position Montgomery County to take advantage of these extraordinarily new and exciting opportunities that this pandemic has actually accelerated. So it seems like the ecosystem has been in many ways updated and also aligned. And so I'm very excited, and I want to thank my colleagues, Councilmember Reamer and Rice, for also pushing through to get us to this particular moment. Because again, this component, I think, will make all the difference to all of the other areas that we have discussed, whether it's WorkSource Montgomery, whether it's Montgomery College, MCPS, whether it's our Economic Development Corporation, and also working on a real grassroots level, because the proof will be in the pudding in terms of who is going to be the face of access to these opportunities. I think that this helps us attract more companies to come here, maybe more startups to come here, because they will see that Montgomery County is absolutely intentional when it comes to preparing our workforce. So thank you. Very exciting, very pleased, and kudos to all of you for working on this.
Amen. The important comments there, including the observation that this will make the county a much better place for startups and companies that are growing, because they can have an understanding that we know, and we are working to understand their workforce needs, and we have a strategy to help them fulfill them. You know, that's a critical part of the desirability of locating in any particular community. So this is a key piece of an economic development strategy. Okay, are there others? Councilmember Friedson.
Thank you. Well, I'm ready for ready, so I'll just say that. But and I know that we all are. I'm excited about this. It's big and it's bold, which is what we charged you with, and really appreciate all the work that has gone into coming forward with this. For me, and we've all talked about this, but it's intentional, it's accountable, and it's sustainable. And that to me is the most important thing. We have been really lucky, and we're blessed here. And you mentioned all of these key assets that we have in the county as part of the workforce development pipeline. And we've had some great leadership, some visionary leadership, but we also have this incredible opportunity now with all of the new leadership coming into all of these different organizations. The key organizations in workforce development all have new leadership. And that's a challenge, because there are big shoes to fill in many of those organizations. Those who have either started the seedlings of these ideas that have become institutions, or have taken them to the next level. But it's also an opportunity. And I do think at times, despite our great assets, we are siloed, and we're so focused on being great at what we do individually that we don't really focus on what we can accomplish collectively. And we have an opportunity for a reset here. And that's what this joint committee had talked about when we convened this initial conversation. That's what you're presenting us with here. And I'm just really excited about it. I know it's only part of what we're talking about, but it's an important part of that. And I know we're just going to begin this process today. I don't think we're going to accomplish all of this in one budget cycle or in 1 year, in a matter of months. And so I know that there's going to be a proposal coming forward that will reflect and recognize that. But you got to start, right? You have to start somewhere. And the comments earlier from Councilmember Navarro about the connection between the economic development efforts that we have undertaken and the workforce development efforts that we're taking. I'll just point to Virginia and Amazon. The key building block of that deal was a $1 billion higher education commitment. $1 billion higher education commitment, and the presence of higher ed in close proximity to HQ2 at National Landing. And that is the clarion call that all of us need to understand, and I think all of us do, that we have to create the pipeline, and we have to build those building blocks, and we have to connect all of these dots, and that we have a responsibility not just to build really great institutions, but to create a pipeline. And pipelines connect. That's the whole point, right? A pipeline that doesn't have proper connections leaks more water than it passes through. to the point where you really don't accomplish a whole lot. And so I'm excited about this. I think it's a really important step forward, and I think it's a reflection of the generational, transformational opportunity that we have because of how much work we've put in together, but because of new leadership, a new moment, a new time that will allow us not just to be up for the moment that we're in, but to meet the moments that follow. So I'm excited about it. I'm energized by it, and look forward to us, getting started here, being ready for ready, I guess, and moving the ball forward. And I know that we're going to be back here talking about how do we continue this moving forward, but look forward to starting it today.
All right, so great. We have a recommendation. We have a proposal from USG to create the Ready Institute, and the first year budget amount is it's on our packet on page 8 of 8, and the first year budget amount is $475,000, and that amount would enable you to hire a institute data director, a program manager, and operations and technology support. And then you would continue your collaborative building with MCPS and Montgomery College. You would plan out your next positions, and you would come back in the second year to add additional funding for additional operational support. We would hope, we would be working with your partners so that they would also be complementing that with an investment. And then the final component of it, and as Councilmember Rice was saying, there are many opportunities for state grants and state support and others, is additional programming to expand into areas, with, I guess those are naming some of the existing ones, but can you just talk a little bit, very briefly, about what some of the strategic county programs that you might envision for the Institute?
Prioritizing key areas. For example, some of the greatest demand right now is around teaching, around IT and cyber, around biotechnology, around behavioral health. And so we would envision really targeting some key areas. And so if there needed to be, if we all decided that we could do some really direct, specific investment, needed to bring more programming, we could prioritize some of those areas in particular.
Gotcha. All right.
Just very briefly, and I think that it's incredibly important to understand that through some of those pathways, they'll matriculate through all three institutions.
That's correct.
And so, because from a behavioral health standpoint, someone who's qualified to be able to serve in that role would have to achieve at least a minimum of that 4-year degree. And so that is that whole combined subset of all of our institutions together. And that's why I was mentioning about the collaboration piece before, but I think that the recommendation of the 475 on the budget for this year to get us started with doing that, and then honing in on how that collaborative process works, which is why I think we see some of the MC and MCPS positions that are there, as well as some of the infrastructure, and then having the conversations with our state partners and our leaders at USM about things that they might like to see as well, will all be beneficial to us as we hone this program.
Okay. Great. So we have a proposal, and I think we have a opportunity for a committee recommendation. So
I strongly agree.
Thank you. All right. Very good. And I see Councilmember Navarro smiling in the digital realm. So very good. We are all united in supporting this, and we look forward to working with you to build and expand on this in coming years. We are adjourned with a positive recommendation. We're not adjourned. You're adjourned. We're still here. Thank you very much for that terrific work, and we will work hard and get that funding for you on our reconciliation list. All right. All right. So, we are now taking up out-of-school based programming, out-of-school time programming. And, all right. Dr. Riley, would you like to just share very briefly a reflection on your morning? I know we're commemorating a dear colleague.
Yeah. Sadly, last Monday we lost one of our recreation supervisors, Miss Ingrid Bean. She'd worked for us for over 20 years. Actually grew up in the department. She was a camper, a camp counselor, came through as a seasonal rec specialist. Really sad. She was very young, 41. She leaves behind two twins, 2.5 years old. So I appreciate your help with the schedule this morning because it was a sad day for the rec family. And so the rest of our staff are gathering today at her funeral. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. She was a great person and big gap for us to fill for sure. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay. So first of all, Vivian, we don't have a lot of time, and we've got a lot to do. There is a proposal that Councilmember Albornoz and I have circulated. Many council members have expressed support around youth sports. Is that a topic for right now, or is that for this afternoon, Vivian?
That was briefed in this packet.
Okay, that's in this packet. Hopefully we can dispense with that quickly. We have Kid Museums here, and we have an opportunity to get a presentation from Kid, and we can make that very brief. So, Vivian, I'm going to turn to you, and you had said you needed 45 minutes, and we've got about 20. So we'll just have to figure out how to move through this as quickly as we can.
We'll go through it quickly. Councilmember Education Chair Rice makes a quorum.
Is your mic on? No.
Sorry.
Well, Councilmember Navarro is on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Sorry.
Is this the parent academy? Would that be in
that
here
would
too?
be today as well.
Okay, well, I want to talk about that. So whether we have to do it later or whatever, I just want to put that on the agenda.
Yep. That's today. That's now. But in order.
Okay, so the Joint Committee has been very concerned about out-of-school time and supporting healthy development of youth. And especially because of the social isolation and disrupted schooling that came about with COVID. There's been a particular focus on Black and Brown and low-income youth in the community. So on page 2 of your packet, the council has provided expanded funding for out-of-school time, and that's listed in terms of the department's fiscal year 22 budget. The council also approved special appropriations through CARES funding to support youth sports initiative as well as after-school youth support and engagement activities. So the Joint Committee requested from the county executive funding for supporting quality out-of-school time programming in the fiscal year 23 budget. And the executive did respond to that. On page 3 of your packet is a table that shows continued funding of initiatives that the council, put forward for 22. So it's $530,000 for community-based program support through the Collaboration Council, $520,000 for summer fun centers, enhanced programming, $384,891 for 2 Excel Beyond the Bell programs at Wheaton Woods and Crest Haven elementary schools, $333,320 for the Kids Day Out non-school day programming, $330,000 for the reopening of EBB and Rec Extra that were taken for savings in fiscal year 21, and $103,750 for an extended summer camp program after the summer fun centers and before school starts. And so council staff recommends approval of those items.
Awesome. Agreed. Great.
In addition, the executive is recommending some additional budget expenditures. One is expanding the rec zone program at 2 high schools, and the funding is in youth development program of recreation, $259,631, and administration, $81,394 for an additional staff person. At this point, there are high schools that are candidates for the new sites, but they haven't been identified yet. And if you're okay with leaving it that way, or if you want to hear from the department.
Can you give us a quick comment on where we're likely to be?
Sure. We're working closely with both the regional service center directors as well as the school administration. We've actually looked at several schools. Seneca Valley is obviously one. Magruder, Paint Branch is a discussion that we've also had, as well as Northwest and Adrian. There are others. Einstein is another option for us as well. So we're having conversations with the school around space, what they feel their needs are, and then we'll use our strategic index to sort of help us identify which of those schools we'll choose from.
Okay. Thank you.
The second item is the Excel Beyond the Bell Elementary program. Again, there's a $667,564 proposed to expand the program to 2 more elementary schools. Again, the specific schools have not been identified. That does not include parent leadership, the parent leadership component that has been included in EBB programs prior to now. So,
okay, parent improvement. So this is where Councilmember Juando mentioned this. I had also wanted to add funding so that we could have parent engagement at all of the EBB sites. Vivian, so I know you've helped us identify this amount. Our understanding is it's $10,000 per site, and that would be 14 total sites. And this is, right? We on the right topic here?
It's included in the previous site, so this would be for the 2 new sites, 20,000.
It's just 20. How much do we have to add to the list just to ensure that it?
20,000.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, 20,000.
Yes.
So we want to add 20,000 to the rec list for parent engagement. Thank you.
Okay. Moving forward, there is funding $52,853 to add a half-time nurse for to provide mandated school health supervision requirements for summer camps. There is $300,000 that's recommended to continue the Bienvenidos Newcomers Enhancement and Assistance provided by Recreation. And there's also, for the Skills for the Future NDA, which the department administers, the proposed funding is $271,360. It's an increase of $15,360, or a 6% increase from the fiscal year 22 level. Unfortunately, we didn't have specific information about the NDA in terms of which contracts are funded in it at the time of packet publication. If the executive branch has that information now, I think it would be helpful to hear.
Yeah, I'll ask Adrian to fill in because that's near and dear to her heart as well. But for the most part, the Skills for the Future piece of that goes to the Kids Museum. I don't have the exact amount in my head, but then the other piece of it that we use to add STEM and science projects to our Club Adventure program, which is an after-school model from 3 to 6. We also used it this year for our Kids Day Out program, which we were able to add some STEM and math and science and reading curriculum to each of those Kids Day Out program. I don't know the specifics on the contractors. I don't know if you have the information or not.
Adrian Clutter, Division Chief. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. We have so many contractors that do wonderful work. We have contractors. Kid Museum's one of them that comes out for us. Skills for the Little Medical School is another one. We've had great stories from Little Medical School. I apologize. I am just drawing a blank on that.
That's all right. Is Passion for Learning one?
We can actually get you the list. We can provide that list to you. Future Resource, I think, is Resources one. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a question here, Vivian, in your mind? Or?
No, just if everyone's okay with that, we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So that comes up to then proposals from council members. There was a request by Council President Albornoz and Fed Committee Chair Reamer to add funding for the Play Montgomery and Girls Sports Leagues initiative. With funding through CARES for the Youth Sports Initiative, the department launched a campaign called Play Montgomery, and that was intended to address disparities in declining participation for historically marginalized groups. The department did a number of different things, lowered fees to make sports more accessible, added a middle school league, Soccer for Change, engaged and contracted with local youth sports providers, and provided exposure to non-traditional and lifetime leisure sports to historical and to address historical and racial barriers. So the recommendation from the council members is to expand the youth sports programming for marginalized communities by adding $750,000 to the department's base. $500 would be to continue the Play Montgomery initiative, and $250 would be used to support the development of an implementation of sports leagues for girls, and that would include sports like volleyball, lacrosse, softball, etc. The funding would provide a full-time rec specialist position to do that.
Great. All right. I wish we could spend a lot of time talking about these things. Major shout out to Council Member Rice, who worked with many colleagues. Councilmember Albornoz, the two of them, I think, crafted the original Play Montgomery appropriation during the pandemic with the federal relief funding. And so this is seeking to continue that while adding funding for new recreational sports programs. It's a little bit awkward for me to describe these things around girls participation in sports, because some of the programs might be for teams or leagues that are only for girls, but a lot of them are just for sports that we know are very popular, like volleyball, where the ratio, is typically overwhelmingly girls, but there are still going to be some boys there. So I think we're looking generally for, best practices, and it can vary, but, it's typically open to everyone, but we're making sure that, we have leagues that are building recreational sports opportunities for kids. And, this whole model has emerged of expensive teams, and there's just massive gaps. So we want to rebuild recreational sports in Montgomery County. We've been running a basketball league that has, 6,000 kids in it, shows that the rec department can run, what's that? A couple of Jawandos count in there. Certainly some Reamer kids have been in there. And yes, Andrew Friedson, future Hall of Famers like Andrew Friedson. And
Rice only Hall of Famer up here.
That's right. So, all right, now we're going down a rabbit hole. We want to see that grow and build, and it's a proven model. And if we're willing to provide rec with support, rec can build rec sports. It's like it can be a part of growing up in this county for a lot more kids, and so that's what that's all about. So for my colleagues in agreement about adding the funds that are specified in the packet. All right, great. Thank you. Back to you, Vivian.
Okay, so the next proposal is a proposal from Kid Museum for an out-of-school time school year program. The request is $606,364 that would support 1 hour of programming twice a week for the school year and reach 960 students in grades K through 3 at 16 schools. The program would be delivered by classroom teachers with training, coaching, and materials provided by KID. The funding is also requested to develop curriculum for grades 4 to 5 to be implemented in fiscal year 24. The breakout of how the funds would be used is included in your packet on page 5. There's recommended schools also listed on page 5, but Ms. Lester has indicated that that KID would meet work closely with MCPS and Recreation to determine the actual schools, and that it has strong relationships with the principals and teachers at all of those schools. Council staff has included some questions on page 6 for the committee's consideration as it, thinks about this particular proposal. Should expansion occur before the outcomes of the pilot program are known? Does MCPS support this particular expansion? Prior to packet publication, MCPS representatives had indicated that they supported the pilot, but they didn't speak to the expansion. And again, should any funding for this effort come from MCPS? And the last question is, again, with this kind of expansion, should there be a public procurement process involved? So those are the questions that council staff raised.
Okay, good questions. All right, so why don't we turn it to Carl Lesser for a brief presentation about the strategy. We'd like to hear from Mr. D'Andrea about the MCPS posture to the extent that he can share that. And we'll come back to council members. We got 7 minutes. Although we can always hold up the county executive's press conference for a couple minutes.
I'll talk fast. Cara Lesser, Kid Museum, thank you for the opportunity to be here to speak about this program. This is a program that we are very proud of, that we launched this year in partnership with MCPS and the Children's Opportunity Fund, with seed funding from both of those organizations, with an explicit focus on how we can support COVID recovery in the out-of-school time environment for our youngest learners, who were some of the most severely impacted from this whole experience. So we focused on kindergarten through 3rd grade, as Vivian said. There are very, very few out-of-school time offerings, certainly for below 2nd grade and even that 2nd, 3rd grade. So an emphasis on reaching those students who often are left behind in our collective out-of-school time efforts, and a very intentional focus on aligning with literacy, math, and social emotional learning standards, all through fun, hands-on maker learning. So this is a very fun program for the students. It doesn't feel like a continuation of school, but it is an intentionally designed curriculum, and twice a week after school taking place in the schools. We've piloted it with our own educators, leading it in the fall semester, and in the spring semester have been training classroom teachers, MCPS classroom teachers, to support the program. So our goal next year is to be able to bring this to many more students and really build out that teacher-trained model. I will say a side benefit of it is that we are continuing to expand the training of our teachers, our MCPS teachers, around maker learning in this process. But it is really focused on the twice a week hands-on maker learning, building in literacy, and a strong focus on cultural responsiveness. We are introducing books each week. We have take-home lessons that the parents are engaging with at home. So there's a parent engagement as well as the student experience. So it's been a very rich experience, and happy to talk at much greater length about it.
And you're saying there's a classroom component of it? The teachers have a role?
Yeah, the teachers are being trained to deliver this in the after-school environment. So our team is training and coaching the teachers, providing the materials, providing the curriculum, and going out and supporting that with in-person coaching, but it's delivered by the classroom teachers.
I see. So you can think about it as sort of as you were saying, a skills strengthening of our entire STEM delivery strategy in a way. Okay.
Exactly.
Mr. D'Andrea.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll be very brief. We absolutely support the expansion of the program. As it stands now, there's been a lot of work done to provide out-of-school opportunities for students, and many of those are at the secondary level. So we are very excited about the opportunity to continue to expand at the elementary level. And the feedback with our partnership with Kid Museum from students and families has been extremely positive. So they're an extremely important partner to us.
All right. Well, that's good. Bill Giwando.
Appreciate that. And I think to the question in the packet, which is always a big one, the funding coming, how it's funded. the pilot, I think who's that funded? What's the mix on that?
So Children's Opportunity
That's
Fund
COF
and MCPS have
MCPS,
both
right,
contributed
okay.
to piloting the program.
And so that's great. And I know COF, their whole job is to kind of start things, not to continually fund. But Mr. DeAndrea, I know you don't speak for the board, but I think one of the things I'd like to see, especially with things like this, is some sort of braided partnership. Obviously all the funding comes here eventually, but from here, but just seeing some sort of shared representation from the MCPS budget as well. I think this is great. I'm glad it's going to expand. I'm supportive of it, but I just think as we move along, that's something I want to flag for you.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you sharing that. We currently do have allocations for Kid Museum in both our operating budget and using our ESSER funding as well, our federal relief funds.
Right, but this program specifically
Right.
would be
Yes.
council funded
Mhm.
in this instance. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anything you wanted to add, Cara?
No, I guess I would just add that the council has been a real leader in helping to jumpstart these types of programs, and MCPS has been an incredible partner in then continuing to fund them in an ongoing way. I think our Invent the Future Challenge is a great example of that. This council supported the launch of that program to bring it to 7 schools. Now it is entirely funded by MCPS. We're reaching 1,500 students across 20 middle schools this year. So just a great case in point of what you're describing, of the power of multiple partners coming together to make something happen.
It's like an innovation center at MCPS in a respect, right? I mean, you are bringing the best of nonprofit and private sector thinking together with an amazing institution that can really execute at scale. And when you find that right model, then you're able to build it out.
Exactly. And this council has been an incredible partner to make that happen. So very appreciative of that.
Awesome. All right. So, with that in mind, I think we've addressed the questions here. Okay, good. Any other comments? Okay, we have a proposal. Thank you, Councilmember Navarro. I see you're signaling your interest, and so we have a proposal for $606,364. Is that the right number to expand this to 16 schools? And all thumbs ups. Okay, great. And that will be on the reconciliation list. And I suppose it could be tranched in half. Well, it's supposed to be tranched because we're supposed to tranche everything that exceeds 500,000, I believe. So 8 and 8, we'll be going for 16 here, but 8 and 8, so half and half.
Question, and Lester can jump in too. So part of the proposal is to provide, services this year in these schools, but part of the funding is also to develop curriculum for fiscal year 24 implementation. So I guess my question to you is, in tranching, how do you want to tranche those separate those pieces?
Yeah, how does that break out, please?
So I think that ideally we would be able to start both the delivery of the program and that curriculum development at the beginning of the school year. So this is a full year program. So for us to do 8 and 8 schools, we wouldn't then be delivering the full program to all 16 schools if it's, but if you want to think about it from a semester, first semester and second semester funding, I don't know if that would work. Happy to talk about that offline and figure out those specifics.
Well, to get under 500, you can do the infrastructure and then.
I was just going to ask that. How much is the infrastructure building and how much is the delivery of the services?
Right. So the curriculum development itself is 206,000.
So why don't we do 206,000 and 400,000
Yeah.
for the 16 schools?
Perfect.
In 2 tranches.
Okay. Thank you.
Having said that, I'm pretty optimistic about our ability to get it all. I think all these together still are within the general norm of the committee's recommendations that we're able to fund. So I'm hopeful there. All right.
The last. Sorry. Buttons. The last item is just an update in terms of the committee had requested, a multi-year plan to support and build infrastructure and programming for out of school time. And there's been efforts from key stakeholders to meet to essentially figure out, what needs to be done, what are our values, who should be doing what. So there's planning and there's work that's going to be going on with the Forum for Youth Investment to kind of go through that process. And we have stakeholders here, Collaboration Council, Recreation, and others, and MCPS that can answer any questions that the committee has.
All right. Well, my colleague is suggesting we might dive into that a little bit later, perhaps
Okay.
this summer, and we wouldn't be able to do it justice in 2 minutes. And so we're pleased that this work is proceeding, and we'll get a chance to learn more about it as we go.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Well, would have been fun to be able to talk about all this stuff for like 2 hours. It's kind of what makes the job worthwhile sometimes, but go forth and prosper.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see you this summer.
See you this summer. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Yeah.